Yes, it's always a beautiful experience when you see the church full of people. However, the way I look at it, I also find joy in small communities whenever I travel. Especially, I make it a point I go to small Christian communities because as Christians, our strength should not be found in numbers. That could be very much of an illusion. But when we are great numbers together, I think it's very important, not as a force and as a power. That doesn't do us God, but as a support in our faith. When we come together in great numbers, it's very much supportive for our faith because we don't feel alone. And that was the beauty of it, that the Christians present for these meetings, they could feel that they are part of a greater church. We can journey together. That's the beauty of it.
Let's talk about those numbers, though. We've got a new pope now. How important do you feel, how crucial his role is in attracting people to the church?
Well, I think attracting people to the church is a very beautiful way of putting it. Because the church, as Pope Benedict says and Pope Francis said, the church grows by attraction, not by proselytism. We don't force things on the people. And the attraction comes from beauty. And it takes some time. The role of the Pope definitely is central, but the Pope is not isolated from the church, from the community. So I think this is very important. We cannot put the Pope above the church. He's not the leader in the church, Christ is. He's got a particular ministry. So it's very important that we look at the role of the Holy Father within the context of a church. It's useless having a Pope that is attractive and then the rest of the church is not attractive. I think we need to be a little bit deeper how we can work together, Pope, Bishop, clergy, religious, laity, together, that we can attract people. And we can attract if we are authentic.
How does it feel to someone with so much faith to see such increasing secularism?
I think there's a whole history and story on a philosophical, on a cultural, on some mistakes that the people might be reacting to the church. From one aspect, however, secular has its own positive things, which is we realize that the potential in itself there is in nature, in human beings, in society. When it becomes antagonistic, that is, I think, where we start to be hurt, in all honesty, because it becomes us and them, us against them. That as Christians, we recognize the autonomy of the sciences, autonomy of politics, but distinction doesn't mean opposition. And perhaps this is where we need to overcome a little bit.
And do you think it's easy to bash Christianity? We hear a lot of antisemitism now, of Islamophobia. But when it comes to Christians, especially Catholics, it seems to be open season.
I think Christianity is much more easily to make fun of it because in life, the higher the truth, the easier to mock. And if Christianity stands for love, real love, then it is the most vulnerable reality, that is Christ crucified. Because when you know, for example, that it stands for love and forgiveness, it's very easy to hurt somebody who loves. Then I think there is another issue that Catholicism stands for certain values. And when certain values, like how we look at life, for example, how we look at marriage, how we look at the family, how we look at relationships, when these values become the values that certain aspects of society want to do away with, want to change them, they don't want to live them, then it becomes very easy to attack Catholicism, but in reality it's attacking those values. Perhaps one thing we need to reread into all this, we as Catholics shouldn't feel victims. Playing the victim because we're attacked, I don't think is the real way forward.
But perhaps people see those values as the church not wanting to move forward.
They could be interpreted that way. Why? Because the church, her values don't originate within her. They are a revelation given to us by God and show us what it means to be authentically human. We have to realize that we have gone through paradigm shifts on anthropology and philosophy, how we look at nature, reality, where what is given is not accepted, but what we construct ourselves to be is the modern philosophy. And these are where the clashes are. So if society wants to move one way, and Christianity, Catholicism, continues to give us this image, then we see it is holding us from going forward. But in reality, I think we as Christians, as Catholics, we shouldn't play that game. We should get outside of it, not playing the victims, but continue to offer the beauty of what we truly believe without imposing it.
What message would you have for non-believers or those who are perhaps suffering a crisis of faith?
Seek. Continue to seek. Because I believe that even non-believers, they are seeking in their lives. I don't like to divide people between believers and non-believers. I prefer to look at everybody who is seeking. Some have found what they are seeking for. Others are still seeking. But even those who have found need to continue to seek in life, because truth, love, justice, reality is greater than we are. I think the worst thing is that we don't seek in life. So for me, somebody whom we say that he doesn't believe, I don't look at him from that way. All of us are seeking love, joy, and peace. We need to help people to find what they are seeking, and to what they are seeking to seek it where it could be found. But it would be more beautiful if we look at ourselves, all of us, as seekers without dividing people. Because I think that is the reality of the human heart. I who believe and an atheist who doesn't believe, both of us carry the same humanity, the same desires, we want the same fulfillment, and we are seeking. Let's journey together and continue to seek. We who believe that Jesus is the one who is seeking us before we are seeking him. And whatever we're seeking at the end, it is Christ we're seeking, even if we don't know. But let's continue to seek. For me, that's the most important thing.